You're watching the 2026 Shriners Children's Hospital Clearwater Invitational. Clearwater, Florida, always a nice place to be, but it is the place to be if you're a softball fan this weekend. The premier early season event with some of the best teams in the nation. And we're all smiles right now as we get set for 40 games over the next 4 days. Kenny Gajewski and Tony Baldwin ready to go. Oklahoma State, Georgia is what you will see right now in just a couple moments. On the other field, just behind us, a top 10 matchup between Nebraska and LSU. The Huskers off to a great start. They just ran the LSU starter, Jaden Heavner, out of the game in the fourth inning. So we'll keep an eye on that one and many other games as this event gets started today. 10 of those 16 teams were preseason top 25. 3 of them were at the Women's College World Series. We've got 5 of the top 10 finalists for the USA Softball Player of the Year from a year ago. Only 6 of them are still in college, so some of the best players in the nation are right here in the booth alongside the former SEC Player of the Year, Madison Shipman. I'm Chucky Kemp. Well, it's the place to be if you're a softball fan. It is also the place to be if you want to test your team early.
That's exactly why these coaches bring their teams down here to this invitational, because they want to see what their teams are made of right here from the get-go, and that's exactly what you're going to see. So many great matchups all the way across the board. And Chucky, at the beginning of each season, I can't help but reflect on last season. So many great individual moments going back to the World Series, but even some great moments here in February last year in Clearwater. So what moments are we going to see this weekend? I can't wait to get it started.
And certainly with the stars on display, we will see many of them this weekend to kick off what should be a fantastic 2026 season. This is what 2025 looked like for Oklahoma State. A rare miss for them making the Women's College World Series. They made 5 straight from 2019 to 2024. They lost in the Fayetteville Regional when they really jumped out and were kind of dominating in that Arkansas Regional, but again, missed the Women's College World Series for the first time since 2018.
No doubt about it that Oklahoma State is hunting to get back to the Women's College World Series. A lot of new faces for this Oklahoma State team this year. A lot of freshmen that are going to be playing for the Cowgirls.
Really the same story with Georgia. This is a team that has always been able to hit the ball, but they've kind of remade this pitching staff, and they're looking to get over the hump under Tony Baldwin and make that first Women's College World Series in his tenure.
When you look at Georgia, and when you think about Georgia historically, you think about their offense, their powerful offense, but they've got a lot of great arms that are going to be pitching for them in the circle this year that I feel like are going to make a big difference for their staff. Maddie Johnson being one of those pitchers for the Georgia Bulldogs that's going to make an impact. She's a transfer coming over from Georgia Southern, so this is her debut with the Georgia Bulldogs here in weekend 2 down here in Clearwater. And what you're going to see from her, some pretty good velocity. The thing that stood out to me watching her throw last year was the spin that she's able to get on her pitches and that deceptive changeup that she's going to throw along with that drop ball. A combination of all those different pitches that she's going to use to try to keep this Oklahoma State offense off balance.
And a lot of unknown on this Oklahoma State lineup. If you're familiar with the Cowgirls, how about this? A freshman starter in center field and a freshman starter at shortstop with J.L. Austin, who you'll see right now, and Aubrey Jones a little bit further down in the lineup. It's so much excitement when you have true freshmen in those positions.
Yeah, you love to see it when the freshmen are making an impact right there up the middle of the field. Center field, a shortstop, and not to mention J.L. Austin right there in that leadoff position for the Cowgirls offense.
Takes ball 1 just a little bit high from Maddie Johnson. J.L. Austin started off her college career with a couple home runs. It's been a lot of movement for Oklahoma State. They were out on the West Coast and Stanford on the opening weekend, then back to Stillwater for a couple days, and then all the way to Clearwater now.
They're racking up those travel miles already early in the season.
2-1 count from Johnson is low in the dirt. So what's the key? You've been here a number of years. Teams that have success here, what exactly do you feel like it takes when you're playing so many games against this competition in so little time?
So many games is the thing that stands out to me, and taking it truly one game at a time. Also for the fans, you got to be heads up when you're sitting here watching these games, watching for the foul balls, but I do think that it comes back to that mindset, one game at a time, one pitch at a time, because these are the games that you can learn so much from to prepare your team for not just postseason, but even conference play, everything in between.
J.L. Austin draws the walk, just the second one, only had one last weekend. She was too busy hitting everything. gives Oklahoma State a leadoff base runner. They went 3-2 last weekend. Couple losses came to Stanford. Also tough when you're going somewhere where they are opening essentially a brand new stadium that underwent a massive renovation. So the Cardinals slightly fired up, and that's been a really good program for a long time. Tia Worsup, a native of Northampton, England, has played and still currently a member of the Great Britain senior national team. Jumps ahead 2-0.
And you're seeing the corners, too, for Georgia playing in. Tia Worsup is somebody that will drop a bunt. She did show bunt on the first pitch of this at-bat. Now finds herself ahead in the count, 2-0 to Johnson.
Ball outside in a 3-0 count. Now Johnson trying to avoid back-to-back walks to start this game. Back down the middle for strike one. For Oklahoma State, it's not just a lot of games, but they're going to do it in 3 days. They will have 2 games a day for the next 3 games for a total of 6, all of them against top 25 opponents. Back-to-back walks to start off for Austin and Worsup.
You're going to see coaches for Georgia come on out to the field. Pitching coach Chelsea Wilkinson and defense coach JT D'Amico making their way out to the infield. I think this is a good time to call timeout, especially for somebody as experienced as Chelsea Wilkinson. She knows what it feels like to be out there in that circle, and this conversation purely could just be a conversation of shaking off those nerves. And that's one of the things, too, why these teams love to come down to this invitational, because you can have those feelings of nervousness, but how do you channel that energy into focus? How do you redirect it to where you can still manage to find your way out of this inning? So we're going to see what Maddie Johnson can do here now with 2 runners on board.
Chelsea Wilkinson has long been a part of this Georgia program. Played for the former longtime head coach Lou Harris-Champer. So, of course, very familiar with Tony Baldwin as well, who was a longtime assistant under Lou. Strike one to Carly Godwin in the 3-hole, a junior. Had a hit in 4 of the 5 opening weekend games. Little off speed in there for the 0-2 count.
Showing that confidence with that changeup. You have to be able to establish that pitch early, especially to somebody like Carly Godwin, who had herself a nice weekend. Ended up hitting a double on a changeup last weekend.
Is into left center field. Long run out in center is tracked down by Delaney Sullivan, and the runner will advance to third base, but they're able to hold Worsup at first.
That swing right there totally speaks to one of, in my opinion, the keys to the game for this Oklahoma State team. Productive outs. Find a way to move runners over when you get people on base. Going back to that last weekend out in Palo Alto, a lot of times they got runners on board, but they weren't able to move them over. And on the flip side, that clean defense is going to be super key for this Georgia team going ahead in this game, especially with a little bit of traffic on the bases early to start things off.
Those are your keys to the game, brought to you by Shriners Children's Hospitals. You just got to look at Randy rolling down the left field line, warming up for Georgia. Pitch down low, and another batter now starting off behind for Johnson. 2-0 to Amanda Hassler. This is a big power bat. Got off to a slow start last weekend. Still looking for her first home run of the season after 16 a year ago. There's strike one. The throw down. No, the runner coming home. It's a low throw is picked by Miller, but in safely comes Austin.
Oklahoma State early in this game putting people in motion, so you see the runner almost hesitate going into second base, but because that throw goes all the way down to shortstop, Emily Digby tries to get it all the way back to Marissa Miller, back behind the plate, but a great dive into the plate on that first and third to just narrowly miss that tag.
Oklahoma State was 10 for 10 stealing bases in the opening weekend. That pitch in the dirt is going to allow allow Worsup to advance.
That's that pressure on the defense too, just running that first and third play, one of the hardest plays to defend in my opinion.
Inside corner and a big out number 2 for Johnson.
Big bounce back there, especially as things started to feel like they were spiraling a bit out of control for this Georgia defense, with Oklahoma State scoring on that 1st and 3rd to get settled back in with Johnson's first strikeout.
Strike one to Claire Tim, who is the designated player in this game, senior from Buena Park, California. Had a good start to the season, homered and drove in 5 in one of their 2 wins over Cal last weekend. Two and one. Speed fooled Tim.
That pitch is nasty. You could see all the spin that she has on this changeup. That's why you get swings so far out in front of it. Look at the rotations right there. Out of the hand, it looks like it's going to be that 67-mile-an-hour drop ball. And Chucky, you know I love a good back-to-back changeup right there. Just misses out of the zone. A good take by Claire Tim. Not an easy pitch to watch go by.
Do you like it up here, or do you like it in the box too?
Oh, I prefer it up here in the booth.
Another backwards K, back-to-back for Maddie Johnson, who dances around some early danger and only allows one.
Maddie Johnson started to establish herself back in the circle with back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning, but it's Oklahoma State with the lead.
Hours before the game started today. 2 games ongoing right now and 38 more to go over the next 4 days. There's Riley Crandall, the senior from New Mexico. Had a tough opening weekend, gave up 9 hits, 7 earned in 3 2/3 in one of her outings against Stanford, so looking to bounce back this week.
Coach Gajewski really looking for her to execute her pitches. That is exactly what they need to see from her, especially now that her team has the lead going into the bottom of the 1st.
Crandall, I think, maybe having some trouble with her.
Got to make sure you're throwing the right pitch,
yeah?
Right? Take a look at what Riley Crandall throws when she's out there. Pretty good velocity, mid to upper 60s consistently. Has a lot of upspin on her pitches with that curveball, fastball, rise ball combination, and will mix in that changeup. I just feel like across the board, pitchers across the country, so important for them to be able to establish that off speed to try to get the hitters' timing off.
Important to start good against Georgia as well. 13 of their 35 runs scored last week came in the 1st inning. There is strike one from Crandall to Kirsten Roos. Kirsten Roos leads things off, one of a couple new faces in this lineup. Emily Digby down in the 8-hole, 5 for 7, drove in 6 last week. That pitch is in the dirt from Crandall.
No doubt about it, you're going to see pop top to bottom in this Georgia offense. Kristen Roos with a great weekend last weekend for the Bulldogs. Had herself a home run against Fordham.
And that is a massive cut at that pitch for strike 2.
Yeah, I think she was trying to hit that one onto the street out there beyond the left field fence, Chucky.
You've taken a couple of those cuts in your time, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to turn it loose.
Usually at rise balls that were about a foot over my head. I probably shouldn't have been swinging at them.
Another big swing from Roos. Crandall wins the first battle for strikeout number 1.
What a difference, too, for Riley Crandall being able to get ahead in the count. That's when you start to get some of those aggressive cuts. Right here, this pitch, this looks like a curveball outside with a little bit of down bite to it, too. I like that pitch right at the knees. A great way to get things started for Crandall.
Delaney Sullivan, the center fielder now, the transfer from Kentucky. Sullivan, Roos, and Lindemuth, a few big transfers for Georgia in this lineup that you'll see today.
You can see the way the infield shifted to Rosie Davis, the third baseman for Oklahoma State, playing up and over just a little bit, respecting the speed that Delaney Sullivan has when she's up in that left-handed batter's box. She will swing away, she can slap, she can bunt, she can do it all, and that defense is reflecting that, trying to cover as much ground as they possibly can in the infield.
Yeah, hit 3 home runs a year ago, already has one this season as well. A 3-run home run against Fordham was her first hit as a Georgia Bulldog. 2-1 on the 49-mile-per-hour pitch from Crandall. (3-1). Riley Crandall, along with Oklahoma State's ace from a year ago, Ruby Malin, both return. Added in a couple freshmen as well to round out this staff, as Sullivan is going to take first base. Was hit by that pitch.
It made an interesting sound, Chucky. I don't know if you heard that, but initially I thought that pitch hit the bat, but by the way that Delaney Sullivan reacted, she went straight down to first base. Let's take another look at it. Did it hit the hand? Did it hit the bat?
Almost looked like the knob of the bat, didn't it?
Yeah, it sounded like it. Hard to tell from that view.
If it didn't hit her, she sold it perfectly.
Well, and remember, too, if it did hit her hand, then that's a hit by pitch as well. Either way, we got a runner on board with one away.
Sometimes I think of what my reaction would be to getting hit on the hand, and I think it wouldn't be that cool. Jaden Goodwin at the plate, the big-time returner from last year's lineup. Goodwin just shredded, 344 average, hit 12 home runs, had a huge jump from hitting 279 as a sophomore. 2-1. Her first hit of the season was a 3-run home run in their season opener. Three and one.
Just missing out of the zone. It's a tough spot for Riley Crandall to be in, too, because you know the power that Goodwin has up at the plate, but you also don't want to just leave it right over the heart of the plate.
And a walk here with one out, now 2 on.
And that is a designated player, Tyler Ellison.
There's Tony Baldwin. Year 5 for Tony Baldwin. His 14th overall at Georgia. 7 years as an assistant, 2 as a volunteer. That kind of got him started in softball. We got the chance to talk to him down on the field before the game. So this is year 30 for him. 16 in softball, 14 in baseball. Their target, a Women's College World Series for the first time with him being head coach. Big swing from Ellison for strike one.
Tyler Ellison is one of those players that Coach Tony Baldwin always loves to talk about, too, just her story and starting off as a walk-on and working her way into that starting lineup to getting to the point where she was able to put up those 8 home runs last season. Had 2 home runs for the Bulldogs last year. Last weekend.
As a team, Georgia really struggled last weekend with runners in scoring position in their loss to Belmont, just 2 for 13. The problem there is Maya Johnson's really good. She's a first-team All-American.
Really good, yes. So tough on the righties.
Dropped by Hassler behind the plate. A 1-2 count to Tyler Ellison. They saw Maddie Johnson, the Georgia starter, get into some trouble, only gave up 1 run. Now Crandall in a little trouble of her own. 1-2 pitch to Ellison. Ground ball right on the line, chance for 2, and they get it. Crandall out of a jam to put a 0 up in the first.
It's a pitcher's best friend right there, Chucky. The double play to get out of the inning. Rosie Davis playing back, steps on third, fires across. The 5-3 double play to end the inning to walk to the beach at some point this weekend.
It's only like a 5-minute walk, so I think, you know.
I think we can make it work.
Any number 2 for Maddie Johnson in the circle. She will face Rosie Davis. This is a big player for Oklahoma State. Rosie Davis, first team all Big 12 a year ago, had a slow start on opening weekend. Long run is out of play for a foul ball.
One of the things, too, Chucky, that I always like to think about is trying to carry over some of that defensive momentum over into your at-bat. And just that double play to end the inning looked like Georgia was going to get some runs on the board, but Rosie Davis making that big 5-3 double play, maybe that's something that can help her in this at-bat to try to get things going.
Big cut. That's going to go onto the other field. 1-2 count to Rosie Davis. Started her season 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts at Stanford. Kenny Gajewski said, no worries for her. She understands the process and what she's going to do this season. And we're really interrupting the game next door. That's a couple foul balls onto their field in a row.
Just making sure they know we're over here at Field 9.
Inside, Davis takes ball 2. What are these first couple weeks of the season like as a player? Like, you're back in it. It feels like sometimes the season can be a grind once you get going. In a few weeks, we'll be talking about that. Like, we're getting into conference play and all that. But what's it like as a player early on?
Yeah, I would say once you get to conference play, it feels like you get a bit more into a routine as Maddie Johnson gets a strikeout against Rosie Davis. But a lot of it, too, is reflecting on the previous weekend and how can you improve. And we were chatting with Coach Gajewski earlier this week and even down on the field before this game. And one of the big things for his offense that he wanted them to focus on this weekend was their discipline up at the plate. That was something that they really emphasized in the offseason coming into this year, making sure that they're swinging at strikes, swinging at the pitches that they can do damage on, and he felt at times that they got away from that last weekend at Stanford, so he wants them to get back on track with that plate discipline for their offense.
This is the talented freshman Aubrey Jones from Gaylord, Michigan. She's the Michigan Gatorade Player of the Year a couple of years ago. There's a great dynamic on this Oklahoma State team in that standing in the on-deck circle is her older sister, Jaden, who transferred from Virginia Tech this year. So the sisters reunited after dominating in high school together as well. And there they are, little state championship.
Love to see it. How cool is that to have your sister playing along with you?
We saw who we believe to be mom and dad with some...
There was a really awesome sweatshirt in the stands and has both of their names on it.
In the dirt, Aubrey is aboard for her big sister, Jaden.
See, this is the type of scouting report that I'm talking about right here. Aubrey and Jaden Jones, got the picture of the two of them on there. How cool is that? Oh, and the hat, too. I did not see the hat.
The Oklahoma State, they must sell those in the bookstore. Johnson has had 2 balls in the count to 6 of the first 7 batters she has faced. Here is Jaden Jones. Just the 1 year at Virginia Tech, made 19 starts in 26 games played, had 15 hits a year ago. One-0 count from Johnson. Ground ball right side. Aubrey danced around it. It was a great spinning play, but the throw was low and bobbled at first base. So the Jones sisters are aboard.
The next batter is the left fielder.
To your point, Chucky, really good base running here by Aubrey over at first base. Ends up moving around that ground ball, so it's difficult for Kirsten Roos over there at second base to even get this mid-hop, but she somehow manages to stop it, spins, throws while on her back, and Castori just can't come up with a throw.
First and second now for Melina Wilkeson, the Arkansas transfer, who's very familiar with or excuse me, the Indiana transfer is very familiar with Oklahoma State. They were all at the Fayetteville Regional last year. That is low for ball 3. Interesting with Wilkeson. She actually hit a 3-run home run off of Oklahoma State's starting pitcher today, Riley Crandall, in that regional last year for Indiana. So Crandall's thinking, all right, here's your chance.
When you talk to Coach Gajewski about Melina Wilkeson, he talks about speed, speed, and more speed. She hit a triple last weekend down the right field line. I'm sure the Oklahoma State Cowgirls would love to see another one of those.
Oh, man, that is smoked up the middle. It's not a home run, but it's going to help the cause for Crandall. It's an RBI single for Wilkeson.
You're starting to see Oklahoma State put together some really quality at-bats, forcing Maddie Johnson to bring pitches into the zone. She keeps falling behind, and what that can do is it can give you even more confidence as a batter that she's going to bring you something right into your wheelhouse. A really good look at that swing by Melina Wilkeson, driving it right back up the middle to score another run for Oklahoma State.
Saw a first and third back in the first inning from Oklahoma State. Let's see if we see it again.
And I'll be curious to see if Georgia runs it a little bit differently defensively. At times you can have the catcher throw all the way through to second base to try to get that out, or you can have your shortstop or second baseman cut off that throw to make sure the runner at third doesn't score.
This is the top of the order and a big chance for J.L. Austin, the freshman from Owasso, Oklahoma.
Another 2-0 count, too, for Johnson. 5 2-0 counts now that she's gotten herself into against these Oklahoma State batters. Now, a lot of them she's been able to wiggle out of, but those are additional pitches. That's additional looks that you're giving to this Cowgirls offense.
Good spot for strike one. Tony Baldwin and Georgia, their second game today will come against Nebraska. There is the first and third. They won't matter. It's a walk anyway on Austin.
And next batter is the right fielder, Tia Warsaw.
2 walks for the true freshman to start, and sets up Tia Warsaw with a huge chance against not Maddie Johnson. Georgia is going to take a second and make a pitching change and go to the veteran Randy Rolling. And what a spot for Rolling. Bases loaded, 1 out, second inning. We'll step away. Well, the SEC looks pretty good again this year. Oklahoma and Texas were excellent a season ago. Oklahoma, everyone thought they were down and out. They ended up the SEC champs. Carlin Pickens is back, 2 times the SEC Pitcher of the Year. And then Texas A&M, of course, for the wrong reason, was the big storyline in regionals a year ago. We'll see if they can rebound. 12 of the 15 teams ranked in the top 25.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty good, Chucky, heading into this season. Going to be a really exciting year in the SEC yet again. Already some fireworks in the SEC, I feel like, that we've seen. A couple of really good games between Oklahoma and Arizona last weekend. So many teams that I've got my eye on. Of course, we watched Texas and Nebraska face off last weekend as well.
I love, we saw some of the fans in the stands. This is really like, it's such a destination for softball fans. It's not just family and friends here. Like, this is just softball fans in attendance all over the place. Into center field, J.L. Austin goes back. Out number 1. Our coverage continues on SEC Network tomorrow morning with this Georgia team taking on NC State at 9 a.m. Eastern. Fortunately, Madison will still be sleeping during that one. Saturday morning, 10th ranked LSU squares off against UCF. And Sunday morning, number 8, Texas A&M taking on James Madison.
You know, Chucky, I can't sleep through softball games, so you know we're going to be up.
Oh, man, stabbed at third by Davis. How about that play from Rosie Davis?
How about the defense that we've seen from Rosie Davis so far in today's game? Had that double play earlier in the game. Gets another hard shot hit her way. Look how far back she's playing. Pretty much even with third base. Ends up taking a step or two to her left. Fields that one cleanly and fires it across. Still a smile on her face. I'd have a smile on my face after that one as well.
Gotta feel good for Aubrey Jones as a freshman shortstop to have that next to you, doesn't it?
Well, and you saw her in the background too. She was ready to make a play there. She ended up diving right behind Rosie Davis. Those are the little things that I look at too for a freshman, having those instincts and being in the right spot. And you love it when your third baseman can come across and make those plays, but to be able to be there as backup if that ball were to get by, she still had a chance to make that play.
Oklahoma State had 5 errors in their loss to the Bulldogs a season ago. That was a season high for the Cowgirls. Much sharper today as we see Emma Castori for the first time, the first baseman from Buford, Georgia. 5 RBIs on opening weekend. 4 of them came against Missouri State. 0-2 fouled back. Who was your third baseman when you were a starting freshman shortstop at Tennessee?
Raven Siobhan and Jessica Spigner, my freshman year. Raven Siobhan played third base after that. Both 2 incredible third basemen.
Oh, 2 inside.
I always remember, too, the amount of ground that Jessica Spigner would be able to cover on bunts. She was absolutely fearless when it came to bunts, and you have to be when you're playing the hot corner. You have to be able to play up pretty much right in somebody's face, but also have the versatility to play back behind third base as well.
Down the left field line, just foul from Castori.
And Raven Siobhan had so much speed, and she started off her career as an outfielder, moved over to third base, and there were times where I would give her a hard time because I felt like she was taking the ground balls from me because she was practically all the way up the middle by the time she was fielding the balls. I was very much appreciative of it, but we like to give each other a hard time about it as well. And I was very lucky to play with some incredible third basemen. Andrea Duran in the Pro League. NPF, another incredible third baseman. I can go on and on about defense. That's one of the areas of the game that I feel like when we talk to a lot of the coaches coming into this invitational, a lot of them were really excited about their defenses this year. Something that Kenny Gajewski had talked about, something that Coach Kelly Inouye Perez had mentioned too with her team.
Ground ball right side, and a 1-2-3 inning for Riley Crandall, looking sharp here in Clearwater. We looked at the SEC. Let's take a look at the Big 12. Texas Tech, of course, picked to win the Big 12. Oklahoma State picked right behind them, and then Arizona and Arizona State tied for third in the preseason poll. Nigeri Kennedy, one of the biggest names in the sport. And then Ruby Malin, some great arms in the Big 12 as well. Ruby trying to lead Oklahoma State back to the Women's College World Series. She helped lead Washington there when she was a true freshman and really burst onto the scene for Heather Tarr and company. Preseason number 20. They have 15 teams that they will face this year that were in the NCAA tournament a season ago.
Big 12 really strong again this year. You mentioned some of the arms, of course, Ruby Malin for Oklahoma State, Nigeri Kennedy over at Texas Tech, Caitlin Terry over at Texas Tech as well. Kenzie Brown is another name, too, that everybody needs to keep an eye on. Pitcher for Arizona State. She is outstanding as well.
So many big games being played early in the season. I was watching on opening weekend, Arizona, Oklahoma played a 3-game series, and Oklahoma dropped the first one in that. Taylor Beal hit a grand slam for Arizona to help win that game, and then, of course, the Sooners bounced back and were really good in the next couple.
That's one of the fun things about these early season tournaments and these invitationals is you never know what you're going to get. You never know if it's going to be a pitcher-dominated game or the hitters are going to come alive.
Hassler plunked with that pitch from Rolling, who just came in a bases-loaded situation with 1 out, an inning ago, and stranded the bases loaded.
Looks like she's okay after that one, but she just wore it straight on the arm.
Hassler on first for Claire Tim. Tim fouls that off of her leg for strike one.
Tim had herself a really good weekend last weekend, too. A couple of home runs against Cal. Had that strikeout looking back in the first inning against Maddie Johnson.
Showing bunt and cannot get a piece of it, strike two.
This to me feels like one of those moments. You get the leadoff runner on board, hit batter. Randy Rolling had just come into the game in the top of the second inning. This feels like a big at-bat here just to get her over into scoring position.
Ball one. Randy Rolling took the only loss for Georgia on opening weekend. It was a really tough one, too, because she really threw well. Only gave up the one earned run, but 2 runs off of a home run in the first inning. Hard hit ball to the shortstop, and they will take the out at first.
I thought for a second we were going to see Emily Digby go ahead and get the lead runner over at second base. Watch her field this ball, a well-hit ball off of the bat of Claire Tim. Kind of takes an in-between hop. I don't think it hopped up near as high as Emily Digby was anticipating. And because of that, maybe that's why she decided to throw across and get an out over at first base.
Kind of works like the sacrifice for Tim with a runner on second base and Rosie Davis at the plate. Struck out swinging her first time up. So early, but how did you, when you got into a little bit of a slump or you had a slow start to a season, I don't know if you did that or not, but how did you kind of reset?
Funny enough, I started off my senior season 0 for 8, and but it was something too that being a senior, I really just focused on the process. And was I swinging at the pitch that I wanted to? Was I on time with my swing? And if I was able to say yes to those things, there's only so much of the results that I can control, whether somebody's making an incredible diving play or I hit a line drive right to somebody. So really just honing in on that process, and was I executing the game plans that my coaches had for me? That's really what it comes down to try to control that mental side of the game, because you're going to fail. It's a game of failure, but how do you handle that, and how do you continue to move forward?
Upstairs, Rolling falls behind big time here to Aubrey Jones. Or excuse me, to Davis. Outside, and Davis will take first base. First and second for Aubrey Jones. Oklahoma State just 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position today. 0 for 2 with the bases loaded. Had those 2 chances when Rolling came in. That couple ground balls for Randy Rolling to get out of a huge jam. Or this game could look a lot different right now.
And for as much traffic as Oklahoma State has had on the bases, you'd almost anticipate that the score would be a lot higher than it is. A lot of credit to Georgia for being able to get out of some of those jams.
We have seen some big-time cuts from a number of players today. That one from Jones swings through it for strike one. Off the end of the bat, Aubrey Jones in the 7-hole has a lot of power too. Already hit her first career home run. Hit 26 home runs in one season in high school, and she won the Michigan Gatorade Player of the Year. She's also a good pitcher in high school. Had a sub-1 ERA and 81 innings pitched that year. 1-2, fouled off. One-two from Rolling. Ground ball scooped up over at third base, and a double play. Rolling is on it. Couple tough spots, but Georgia coming up big with the defense again.
Mayhem, right? I know it's February, but it feels like mayhem.
It just feels right. Some big-time matchups coming your way on Sunday. This is the matchup we hope we get. Nigeri Kennedy against Jordy Fromm, potentially in the circle for Texas Tech and Nebraska. I mean, we're talking 2 Women's College World Series, finals level matchups on Sunday.
And just names that you absolutely need to know in the world of softball. Incredible athletes.
Well, first pitch swinging is through the 5-6 hole for Emily Digby. And Georgia's offense looking for a jump start here in the 3rd.
Georgia being aggressive first pitch, swinging against Riley Crandall. Crandall has been very efficient in her pitches so far in this game. Just 18 pitches in the first inning and just 10 pitches in the bottom of the 2nd inning, 8 of those being strikes.
First leadoff runner to reach for Georgia. Is that a conversation then for Georgia? They look at that, they say 10-pitch inning, 8 strikes. Let's be aggressive next inning.
And I think a lot of it depends on who you are as a hitter too, and knowing yourself. Are you somebody that likes to be aggressive early in the count, or do you want to go up there and see a couple of pitches? Every hitter is a little bit different in that. I always like to be more on the aggressive side. But then I also had teammates that were very comfortable batting with 2 strikes.
Bailey Lindemuth trying to be comfortable with 2 strikes here, down 0-2 after the leadoff base hit from Emily Digby. This is up the middle, double play chance. Jones off balance. What a throw from the freshman.
How about the defense that we're seeing in this game, Chucky? The unassisted double play. 6'3", all the way across. Not exactly unassisted, but you know what I mean. She goes over there, touches second base, and then lowers her arm slot on the run to, one, avoid the runner coming into second base, but also throwing across to get to first base for that double play to get things back on Oklahoma State's side.
Well, what is the technical term? Like, how do you score it in your book? I go 6U3. Like 6U-3. Like I give her, just so I remember that.
Yeah. I go 6-3, and then I write DP for double play. That's my officially unofficial scorebook. You knew what I meant, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Such athleticism, too, and even being down on the field talking to Coach Kenny Gajewski and Coach Greg Bergeron over there for Oklahoma State. So excited about their freshman over there at shortstop and what she can bring, and we just saw an example of that athleticism on that play.
Certainly looks the part of your prototypical shortstop. I mean, she's 5'10". She looks like she should be playing basketball, probably shooting guard.
Well, and what stands out to me are the arm angles too, being able to vary your arm angle on those throws, because you're going to have some of those ground balls where maybe you're moving up the middle, or right now we see her shaded way over into that 5-6 hole. So can you adjust and still be able to make that long distance throw depending on who's up at the plate?
No chance for Jones this time. Another base hit up the middle for Kirsten Roos. Her first hit of the day after a strikeout to start off this game.
Next batter, center fielder Delaney Sullivan.
Now Delaney Sullivan, the lefty, with 2 outs and 1 on. There's ball 1. Two 2-0 high. Ground ball right side, smothered over at first by Godwin, and another clean inning for Riley Crandall. Just 11 pitches in the 3rd. We'll talk to Kenny Gajewski on the other side. Little Clearwater Invitational just getting underway today. We are now joined by the head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, Kenny Gajewski. Their team up 2-0. Coach, I just got to ask you about these freshmen, Aubrey Jones and JL Austin. Unbelievable what we've seen from them the opening 2 weekends. What have you seen as their career has began?
Yeah, it's really cool. These are 2 kids that we've been waiting for a long time to show up here and wear the orange, and they've been awesome. They've just been under control. I think they've been as normal as anyone on our team. We talk about that a lot. Just stay normal, stay what you do, and they've done that.
And Coach, offensively for you guys have had a lot of traffic today, but what's it going to take, in your mind, for them to push some more runs across?
Yeah, it's going to take our big three there to get something done here. We've got on base. We just got to relax, just be us, and you got a couple of kids that are pressing, and we got to get them out of that. But we got to keep getting on base. That's the first thing, and then we got to just drive them in.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck,
guys. Thank you.
Game 1 of 6. Or excuse me, game 1 of 5 for Oklahoma State. They play 2 today, 2 tomorrow, 1 on Saturday before they head back to Stillwater, and some big games coming up for the Cowgirls as well. They'll have Nebraska 3 times coming to Stillwater for an event.
That's quite the schedule, too, for Oklahoma State. Last weekend, facing off against Stanford. You mentioned Nebraska and the teams that they're going to face down here in Clearwater. Georgia, LSU, Texas A&M, UCLA, and Duke.
So interesting for these Midwest teams, Northeast teams, North teams that just are not going to play at home. I mean, I was looking at Nebraska's schedule. They have 16 home games. This is into foul territory, long run. A great hustle by Goodwin, but not going to get there.
I think about, too, for those teams, the amount of times that they're practicing indoors or on turf, and what a difference it is coming down here to Florida and just adjusting to taking ground balls on the dirt and getting those reads off of the dirt, because it is quite different. I always loved practicing on turf because I knew I was going to get a true hop every single time. Dirt can be a little bit different.
Ground ball right side is taken care of. That was Jaden Jones. Gymnastics takes over the SEC Network every Friday night. We've got another great doubleheader for you. Tomorrow, number 7 Missouri visits number 25 Kentucky at 7 Eastern, followed by number 2 LSU hosting number 17 Auburn. Both meets also available on the ESPN app. I've asked you this before. Were you a gymnast growing up?
I was not a gymnast, but I will say that my family and I, we absolutely love watching gymnastics this time of year. Kaylin Chio for LSU is phenomenal. So much fun to watch. So many incredible athletes that you see across gymnastics in the country, and especially in the SEC.
Your kids turn the living room into kind of the gymnastics mat?
They do. They both do gymnastics, so they love to participate in gymnastics, and then, of course, watch the great collegiate athletes perform out there as well. Both men's and women's gymnastics they love to watch. We've always got some sporting event on in the house, Chucky. I don't have enough screens. I need more screens.
You're going to have a co-ed luge team after the Olympics are done, I think. 2-2 count for rolling to Melina Wilkeson, the bottom of this Oklahoma State order. RBI single, her first trip. Takes outside, it was close.
Good pitch there. I really like the location from Randy Rolling. So far, a lot of her pitches kind of staying right around the zone. But a lot of credit to Oklahoma State with their discipline and not chasing after some of those pitches.
3-2, softly hit to the shortstop Digby, 2 outs. Second year at shortstop for Emily Digby. She moved there last year with Ellie Armistead graduating. J.L. Austin and the top of the Oklahoma State order. She is not recorded in at bat. A couple walks for her to start this Clearwater Invitational.
That's not easy to do, too, as a freshman, especially coming into this tournament. You almost want to prove to yourself, prove to your team, and for somebody like JL being right up there in that leadoff spot, to have that patience and that discipline to go along with the power that she has, too. Really impressed with her, not just offensively, but defensively as well. She made a great catch against Stanford all the way up against the fence out in the outfield.
And she didn't really walk last week. She only walked 1 time. So I think the scary part for teams that will face them as this year goes on to see maybe her mind start to already go as a college athlete and understand these pitchers.
And she has a great presence about her, too, when she steps into the batter's box. You can almost just feel the confidence that she has when she steps in there, and that's so important for batters to be able to have that confidence.
Goes down looking this time on a great pitch from Rolling to end the top of the fourth.
Randy Rolling showing off out there in the circle just as a batter when you think you know what's coming. Randy Rolling just pulls the string on this one, gets the strikeout looking to end the inning. We're going to chat with Coach Tony Baldwin on the other side of this break.
Clearwater Invitational. Beautiful Clearwater, Florida. Just game 2 of 40 this weekend. Oklahoma State leading Georgia 2-0. We are joined by the Bulldogs head coach, Tony Baldwin. Coach, I'm just going to ask you, 6 games in 3 days. How do you kind of keep everything in check with your team?
Well, this is when you kind of start to figure out what kind of team you have and how you can dig in. And, you know, ultimately it's a battle of attrition that's played one game at a time. And so we're going to try and use our people and go compete every opportunity that we get. You know, so far it was good to get Maddie back out there. You know, she didn't pitch for us last weekend, but she's going to be really good for us. Just a few too many free passes there, and then we've shot ourselves in the foot a little bit with a couple of the double plays. But hats off to Oklahoma State. They've made some really good plays, and we just got to fight for some momentum here.
Yeah, Coach, we've got a really good battle going for us here. You've got your lineup coming through, second time through the order against Riley Crandall. What is the message to your offense to try to get something going here?
Yeah, just stay in the fight. You know, she's made a couple good pitches when she really needed to. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's a 7-inning ball game. They just got to keep having at-bats. And you know, momentum's a funny thing when you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds. You put a couple good things together, and the ball can get rolling pretty quickly. So hopefully we can make that happen.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go Dog.
Tony Baldwin hoping his offense can get something going against Riley Crandall. 3 innings, 2 hits, she had 18 pitches in the first frame, and then the last couple, 28 total against this Georgia lineup.
She has been incredibly efficient out there, and it's interesting when you hear Coach Baldwin talking about momentum. I think you're seeing momentum for Riley Crandall as well.
1 pitch, 1 out. I'm at 21 pitches in the last 2 innings, not 28, and she is continuing that trend here.
And it is an interesting spot to be in as an offense because you want to go up there, you want to be aggressive, but she's also throwing some really good stuff out there too. So it's not just like she's putting it on the tee, but she is spinning the ball really well. To me, it seems like she is executing her pitches, executing her spots, and that's why Georgia hasn't been able to square things up consistently against her. Plus, when she's mixing in the changeup too, makes it even more difficult.
Seeing the cleanup hitter Tyler Ellison, who grounded into a double play to end the first inning, her first trip to the plate. 0-1 count from Crandall. Left side through the 5-6 hole. That's a base hit for Tyler Ellison.
You could hear that one off of the bat. Tyler Ellison just a little bit early on that swing, but because she keeps her barrel in the zone for so long, she's still able to get the end of the bat on that ball to just barely sneak it through the left side of the infield. Can hear it right off of the end of the bat. It makes a very distinct noise when you square up a ball, but just to show you the strength that she has to still be able to muscle that one through the 5-6 hole.
Now Sarah Gordon, who takes ball 1 in her 3rd season as a Georgia Bulldog. She was ACC Freshman of the Year and All-ACC first team at Louisville to start her career. Left field, this ball is crushed, and if it's fair, it's gone. It is not.
I think Coach Tony Baldwin was trying to will that one fair, pointing in fair territory. We were trying to get a good look at it to see if it was going to stay fair, but she hit that one about a mile up in the air.
You talked about it. Oklahoma State's had so many runners on. It just feels like this isn't just a 2-run game, but Georgia's right there a swing away as we'll get a visit from Carrie Eberly Parker, the Oklahoma State pitching coach. It was interesting, we were talking to Kenny Gajewski about Riley Crandall. She had a tough opening weekend, said that she texted him and said, hey, can we talk? And he said, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking when a player asks for that, but said they went in the hotel. They got kind of the 3 of them got together, and Crandall's like, what can I do? How can I help this team more? And he said, him and Carrie kind of looking at each other and just felt like it's all about execution for Riley Crandall. They told her, look, your stuff is good enough. It's just about location and execution, and we're seeing that today.
Yeah, hitters are so good that if you leave the ball over the middle of the plate, they're going to do damage on it. They're going to make you pay for that mistake. But like we talked about, the spin and the change of speeds that Riley Crandall has, it really comes down to being able to hit those corners and pitch sequencing as well to try to keep these offenses off balance. And maybe with a couple of solid barrels on that softball is why Coach Carrie Eberly came out. First time that she's had to come out in this game, just have a quick chat to try to get her back on track.
It always helps when your pitching coach was spinning it just a few years ago herself. Just off the glove of Jaden Jones into center field, and that'll put 2 aboard with just 1 out.
Really nice swing there by Sarah Gordon, too, driving that one the opposite way. Hard line drive straight over to Jaden Jones, who almost had it. Jumped up to try to snag that one in the air, but hit pretty hard off of the bat. So it drops down, and now Georgia's got something cooking here in the bottom of the 4th.
Go down as back-to-back singles for Georgia. Now in steps Marissa Miller, another big returner in her 4th season. In the air to center field. Austin is there, 2 outs.
It's a really big out for Crandall. Getting Marissa Miller to swing at that first pitch, and it's a fly ball that's shallow enough in center field to not allow Tyler Ellison to advance over to third base.
Emma Castori.
Emma Castori 0 for 1 with a ground out back in the 2nd inning. Big chance, there's ball 1. Castoria Jr., her dad Christian played a little bit in the Pirates organization. Inside, ball 2. Back inside, that is strike 1. Staying on the inside part of the plate, fouled back.
And you can see, too, when we show that infield view, how the infield is kind of shaded over towards the left side of the field, especially when you look over at Carly Godwin and Jaden Jones on the right side of your infield, shaded up the middle just a bit. And a lot of that has to do with the way that Riley Crandall has been throwing to Castori here, really working that inside part of the plate.
2-2 in the dirt, full count.
Trying to get that changeup in there, just misses low. Runner is going to be on the move here in this full count.
Another foul ball from Castori.
Good at bat here, good battle. Just getting a piece of that one to stay alive. See another pitch. She's almost thrown more pitches in this one at bat to Castori than she did in the entire 2nd inning. 7th pitch coming in here.
Ground ball right slide slowly for Jones, who takes care of it. Crandall strands a pair. They were both on with just 1 out. Started at the Shriners Children's Hospital Clearwater Invitational. It is a beautiful day. It's scheduled to be really great weather this weekend. This is how we got here. Oklahoma State up 2-0, but they're only 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Georgia hadn't had as many runners on, but they're 0 for 3 as well, so situational hitting lacking a little bit for both sides in this first game. That is a base hit to start the inning for Tia Warsup and Oklahoma State.
I feel like, too, Chucky, as this game has gone on, we're starting to see these batters be a bit more aggressive early in the count, and that's a great example by Tia Warsup. Not exactly the perfect pitch to go after early in the count, but that was something that she was hunting for, got it, and drove it straight back up the middle to get this inning going.
Sets the table for Carly Godwin. New first baseman in the game for Georgia is the true freshman from Chicago, Illinois, Gabby Novikas. Replaces Castori over there. Ripped through the left side. Back-to-back base hits for Warsup and now Godwin. The newest edition of SEC Storied premieres Friday night at 10:30 Eastern. The Fighting Tiger chronicles the 43-year career and legacy of LSU gymnastics head coach D.D. Bro. Documentary available here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Oh my goodness, look at all these fans out in the concourse. This is what it's all about right here.
Food and softball and great weather. Does it get much better than this?
In that order, or?
Softball, food, great weather.
You can't have the first without the third.
See, now,
though, right?
I know, now you got me thinking over here. All the above. Can we just put them at the same level?
This is the fourth time Oklahoma State's had multiple runners on base in front of these great crowds here in Clearwater. The question is, can they bring them around to score now off of Randy Rolling? Oh my goodness! That is crushed! Amanda Hassler hit 16 a year ago, and that is a loud #1 for the senior.
I'm pretty sure if we look out there, that ball might still be in orbit somewhere. She absolutely smoked this ball. Love that she knew it immediately off of the bat. This pitch working its way on the inner half. Look at the bat toss, bat flip, watching it the entire way, gets her back leg into it, gets that extension, gets that drive, and look at that ball. It is going all the way to the street. That is the type of big swing that Oklahoma State needed, and again, the aggressiveness early in the count by the Cowgirls ends up paying off here.
Amanda Hassler's first of the season. It is just her second hit of the season, or excuse me, third hit of the season. Had one single, one double a week ago. That had to feel really good off of her bat to put Oklahoma State in firm control here in the fifth, 5-0, and that will force Georgia into another pitching change. It's a great opportunity, though, for a true freshman from Georgetown, Kentucky, Ada Little. Through 2 innings in 1 appearance a week ago against Belmont. No hits, no runs, no walks, and 1 strikeout. So off to a good start. We just haven't seen much of her yet.
Yeah, that's what you want to see, too, is just limiting those free passes. And in this game, that's something that has gotten to these pitchers. So for Ada Little, you're wanting to command that strike zone right from the beginning. Going to throw in the mid to high 60s. Has that drop ball, curveball combination, again, with that changeup. Going to see how this offense adjusts to a new pitcher coming in there. Randy Rolling in her final line ends up going those 2 2/3 innings pitched, gives up the 3 earned runs. She did come in a really tough situation too, going back to earlier in this ball game. Came in 1 out, bases loaded, was able to get them out of that jam. But it's Amanda Hassler that just busts this game wide open with that 3-run shot.
Georgia pitching have been really good in innings 4 through 7, just 1 run allowed a week ago in those innings. So we see Claire Tim to be the first one to face Ada Little. This outside ball 2. We're talking to Tony Baldwin. How do you approach this weekend? And of course, it's that game-by-game approach. And I just have to think as a coach coming into a weekend like this where you're going to play somewhere between 4 and 6 games and against this level of competition, the plan goes out the window real quick.
It's all about adjusting, and I do think that this game is about adjustments, not just from the offensive side, but the defensive side of things, pitching side of things. It's that constant chess game between you and your opponent, because as they're trying to make adjustments to you, you have to be able to fight back immediately. And I think we've seen that from Oklahoma State's offense today, whether it's being a little bit more patient when the pitchers are giving you walks, or going up there and turning the tables and being aggressive when you see them coming in the count in the strike zone a little bit earlier.
Never know the matchups you're going to get here either, though, because as we saw earlier, as Macy Graff takes her spot at first base as a pinch runner, Nebraska doesn't go with Jordy Fromm in their first game. And so the question is, will we see Jordy Fromm later today? You just never know.
That's the other aspect about an invitational like this, too, is the quick turnarounds and how quickly can you prep to face another team. Whether you have a game break in between or if you're playing back-to-back games, how quickly can you turn things around? And that's something that you see when it comes time to the postseason, too. You think about all those games that happen in regionals at the World Series. You have to be able to have that mindset where you can flip things around in a hurry.
Jordy did throw the final 3 innings in that game. We saw her all opening weekend, too, whether it was a starter or a reliever. So we'll see how Nebraska plays it later today when we have the Bulldogs against the Huskers. Rosie Davis fouls that pitch away. 2-2 count against the freshman, Ada Little. Two Georgetown, Kentucky natives on this Georgia team. Delaney Sullivan out in center field. Also from there as Little gets the backwards K against Davis for a very important out number 1.
Really good location with this pitch, too, right on the outer and lower half of the plate. Good movement here. Good example of that drop ball, that last-minute bite off of the table. So out of the hand, it looks like that pitch is going to stay outside, but right at the very end, gets back into that strike zone for strike 3.
Strike 1 to Aubrey Jones. Walked and scored back in the second. Grounded into a double play her second time up. Nice job behind the dish by Miller to keep that in front. Chopper up the middle, close to second base. It's another double play. Nice work from the true freshman Ada Little and getting a little help from her defense.
How about all these double plays that we've seen so far today, Chucky? I believe that's number 3 for double plays on the day. The defense is showing out for both of these squads.
Innings and shuts down Georgia, scatters 4 singles and gives up no runs to set up Oklahoma State to win this opener in Clearwater. And here is Ruby Malin, the star from Omaha, Nebraska, excuse me. Started her career at Washington, dominated at Scott Catholic, which is a great high school in that area, and Ruby gets a chance to close the door.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if you continue to see these teams using a bunch of different pitchers throughout this invitational. From Ruby, you're going to see that high velocity. That go-to pitch is the drop ball, so the infielders have to be prepared to make plays behind her. And this offseason as well, been working really hard on getting that pitch up in the zone to completely change the eye levels for the batters. And already they're on their toes because she throws with such great velocity.
Career year a season ago in her first at Oklahoma State, even topping that great freshman season at Washington. Digby swings through it, and that is a big pop of the mitt from Ruby Malin. We talk so much about this senior class with Fromm, Pickens, Nigeri, but it goes a lot further than just those 3. And Ruby Malin's right there as one of those other star arms. We'll see Taylor Tinsley for UCLA this weekend and many more in this senior class that's going to make this an incredible year.
I was looking at a bunch of different numbers and just comparing some of those seniors that you mentioned, the pitchers from their junior years last year, just to kind of get an idea of where they all stand. As you see how fired up Ruby Malin is when she steps into this ball game. just the ultimate competitor when she's out there in the circle, working this pitch in the top part of the zone too. When you get those scouting reports, you have an idea of what you're going to see from a pitcher, and you think about Ruby, you think about down in the zone, but that upspin that she's able to put on that pitch just completely changes things.
Ground ball right side scooped up by Jaden Jones, 2 outs.
Going back to our conversation about just a lot of the different pitchers, I was looking at whips, walks, and hits per innings pitched, specifically from Ruby and Carlin Pickens and Nigeri Kennedy and Jordy Fromm, and the common theme across all of those pitchers was that their whips were under 1. So that just tells me that they are not allowing very many people to get on base, whether that's with ground ball outs or with the strikeout numbers that these pitchers are able to put up.
Ruby is dealing to start this. The lineup turns over to Kirsten Roos. Roos fouls that off of herself for strike 2. I mentioned Scott Catholic High School and Ruby Malin. She actually was teammates with one of Nebraska's big names, Lauren Kamenzind. Of course, both Kamenzinds at Scott Catholic. They won 2 state titles. That would be a problem. Both Kamenzinds and Ruby Malin, among others, on those Scott Catholic teams. It's one thing in travel ball, but when it lines up like that in a high school, forget about it. 1-2 from Ruby. Pops the mitt and pops up. They're going to say that was not a foul ball. I thought maybe Roos got a piece of it. She did not. It's a strikeout as Ruby Malin comes in and goes 1-2-3 through the Bulldogs.
Lead for Oklahoma State heading into the 5th inning before this big blast by Amanda Hasler. Chucky, I don't know what I like more, the swing, the ball flight, or the bat flip. Love it all. Love to see that confidence, and what a big swing by Amanda Hasler early in the count too, going up there, being aggressive, and she got every single bit of that softball.
Yeah, that sound, I missed that sound. Glad that we're back to that.
We were talking about the sound earlier in this game too, how it makes that distinct sound when you hit it on the sweet spot of the barrel, and that was it. That was exactly what we were talking about.
Oklahoma State 4 for 6 hitting in that 5th inning. Try to pick up where they left off. Really, Ada Little did a great job coming into that game because she came in with nobody on, gave up a leadoff single, and then went strikeout and ground into a double play to get out of it. Aubrey Jones was the one who grounded into a double play. She's done it twice. Now this is her sister Jaden Jones at the plate. Did you ever play with Allie?
Did not play with Allie, no. 7 years in between the two of us, so we didn't get a chance to play with each other, but we're talking softball all the time.
No like slow pitch leagues that you guys went and dominated together after the fact?
No. Once I retired, I have not swung a bat since.
Okay.
Fun fact, the last time that I played before I retired was actually over on Field 8.
Really?
At a USA tryout. Yes, that's the last time I played before I retired. A lot of good memories at this field, not just in my playing days, but also having the opportunity to be at this Invitational as a fan and as a broadcaster. It's always one of my favorite events of the entire year, just because there's so many great teams all in one spot. And because we've all been itching for softball in the off season, so we're so excited that it's a brand new season. You get to see the new faces, what stars are going to be born over the weekend, and we get to see a lot of them down here in Florida.
2-2 count to Jones. In the air left side, just into the grass, 1 out. Well, the first game of the day, Nebraska LSU, was all Cornhuskers. Jordy Fromm did come into that game, 3 innings of relief, and she gets Jayla Lassiter climbing the ladder. 6-0 Nebraska, and you talk about being fiery. We just saw Ruby. Jordy Fromm's going to bring the fire as well.
brought the fire up at the plate, too. Had a double that scored some runs and also had a single up the middle that scored another run. So have yourself a day, Jordy Fromm.
4 innings for the starter Jensen in that game, just 1 hit allowed. It's the big thing for a lot of these teams coming back, right? You look at Nebraska, you look at Texas Tech, and we talk so much about the big names, but who's behind them is so important for a run.
And I think about, too, how these coaches are going to use their pitchers and their pitching staffs. And you hear a lot of these coaches talking about being strategic and when they use certain arms against certain parts of the lineups. You'll have people that are almost lefty specialists, and you'll have people that come in as closers. And you also might see some pitchers that start and close or come in middle relief. So it's all about that versatility with your pitching staff, how you can use them to really make it through the grind of a long softball season.
That is low ball 3 from Little to Melina Wilkeson. It was 1 for 2 with an RBI today. To your point on that, you made a great point yesterday when we were just talking in the build-up to this. There's no training. There's no spring training. These teams, especially for cold weather teams, you're not going to Florida or Arizona to warm up. You're just like, hey, go.
There is no warm-up. It is just go for it.
Upstairs, that is a walk to Wilkeson with 1 out. Sunday on SEC Network, 4 women's basketball games featuring 5 top 25 teams. It all starts with Michaela Blakes and number 5 Vanderbilt at Georgia, noon Eastern, 11 Central. Vandy lost those back-to-back games at the end of January. They've won 3 straight over Florida, at Kentucky, and then Monday beating Oklahoma in Nashville by 16. We're getting really close to the NCAA tournament, especially on the women's side.
And March Madness right around the corner, right?
A half-hearted effort there. Austin did not go around. Wilkeson able to take second.
Those are the little things, too, that Oklahoma State is looking to take advantage of, especially with J.L. Austin up at the plate trying to put those runners into scoring position. And it's somebody like Wilkeson with so much speed.
Ground ball right side, and there are 2 outs, but it does move the runner over to third base.
The next batter, the right fielder,
Tia Warsup. One for 2 with a single and a walk. Takes strike 1. So we've seen Maddie Johnson, Randy Rolling, and now Ada Little for Georgia. Still a few other arms that will be big parts of this staff as that gets through the left side for a base hit, and another run scores for Oklahoma State.
All right, Tia.
Really good piece of hitting there by Tia Warsup. The most difficult part for a lefty, facing a lefty, especially a lefty like Ada Little, who likes to work the ball down in the zone, is making sure that you're staying on that ball, that you're not pulling off to the right side, but you're trying to throw your barrel towards left field, and Warsup does exactly that for a big 2-out RBI.
Now to Carly Godwin. Single and a run scored her last trip to the plate. And I was talking about that Georgia pitching staff. You got Addison Fisher, who came over from UCLA, Destin Howard, who's been there now in her 4th season, and then Presley Harrison, who is a true freshman that we saw a lot of on opening weekend. You have to think Tony Baldwin's hoping that Ada Little is going to get him through this game, I would think, so you can kind of have fresh new arms ready to go for later today.
Well, and you want to see your pitchers against this level of competition, too. I know it's early, but that's when you want to see it.
Into left field. Oh, it kind of tied up. Good one for just a second. And that'll do it for out number 3. Another run comes across for Oklahoma State. 6-0.
Attention softball fans, the Seattle Police Department is hiring
players brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater. Starting off with the freshman J.L. Austin is stealing home on this first and third play, showing off her versatility even in her last at bat, getting that ground out over to first base to move the runner over that eventually scored. And the defense, freshman defense from Aubrey Jones over at shortstop, making incredible plays over there. That double play, the 6-3 double play. The defense has been a star for Oklahoma State in this ball game.
This is a player to keep an eye on. Aubrey Jones playing shortstop. Her older sister Jaden at second base. J.L. Austin in center field. It's just exciting when you start to get a peek at some of these players. You're like, oh, okay, this is the future. This is who we're going to be talking about over the next 2-3 years as stars of this game. We'll see a lot of those tomorrow. We will actually have Oklahoma State UCLA, and that UCLA team is loaded with a lot of young talent.
Could that be a battle of the defenses, too? We've seen some great defensive plays, and we heard Coach Kelly Inouye Perez talking about her defense on the calls earlier this week.
It's fouled off by Delaney Sullivan, leading this inning off. Was hit by a pitch. That's the lone time she has reached in this game, just her third trip to the plate. 6 outs for Georgia to work with, down 6-0 in this top 25 matchup. Ball 2.
Nice job by Hasler back behind the plate on that one, too. I know it's a foul ball, but still being able to have somebody back behind the plate to where a pitcher like Ruby Malin has full confidence in being able to bury one of those pitches down in the dirt.
Ground ball right side. That's off the glove of Jaden Jones into center field. Go down as a base hit for Delaney Sullivan.
Really good piece of hitting by Delaney Sullivan, too. Being in that 2-strike count, not easy to be able to hit that one that hard back up the middle. Good effort by Jones, but just out of her reach.
The next batter is the left fielder, Jaden Goodwin.
That brings up Jaden Goodwin. 0 for 1 with a fly out and a walk so far. Takes ball 1 outside. Goodwin has played a lot of softball at Georgia. Played in 173 games in her first few seasons entering this year. In the air to left field. 1 out. It's a Georgia team that, for anyone who's been a part of this program for 1, 2, 3 years, they've played a lot of big games. They've reached 3 straight super regionals. They just have not been able to get over that hump and get back to the Women's College World Series, a program that's gone 5 times, but their last was in 2021.
One of the things that really stood out to me when talking to Coach Tony Baldwin before this weekend, just looking at last year's team and those SEC conference weekends specifically, he said 6 of those weekends they went into game 3 with a 1-1 record, and they ended up losing those game 3s. So that's something that I guarantee is a point of emphasis for this team this year. Every single game makes a difference when you get down the stretch, and being able to battle and figure out a way to win some of those games. I know defense was something that they really worked on in this offseason. They ended up making quite a few errors in the SEC last year, wanting to turn that around, because that's one of those things where a little bit more on the controllable side of things when it comes to this game, being able to make those plays, being able to get out of innings just a little bit quicker, not let offenses get any sort of momentum. If you can stop that on the defensive side of things, it can make a difference.
Carrie Eberly Parker having a quick conversation with Malin right now. Did you see the defensive numbers for Georgia? 12th in fielding percentage, 53 errors was 10th most.
Yeah, those 53 errors those start to add up very quickly, and typically errors have a tendency to snowball too. They can come in bunches, so being able to shut those things down. Errors are a natural part of the game, but what do you do right afterwards? What is the response?
Ruby behind Tyler Ellison, 3-0. That's strike one. This is into center and carrying. Austin throws a glove up, it's gone. Tyler Ellison, a big swing for Georgia to put him on the board.
Two-run home run, Tyler.
Already her 3rd home run of the season.
Tyler Ellison's swing, to me, looks like the type of swing that you think of when you think of Georgia softball. Somebody, a right-handed batter that has so much pop to the opposite field. She starts with that open stance, steps across, uses that momentum, and look at where she makes contact with that ball. Almost like she's making contact behind her, and that ball is just sitting on the barrel of her bat for an eternity before it ends up getting launched over that center field wall. Just one swing can make such a difference in this ball game.
Sarah Gordon at the plate takes strike one, trying to follow up Ellison. Already 3 home runs. She had 8 a season ago. 0-1 to Gordon is in there for strike 2. So let's talk about it. We talked with Tony Baldwin this week, and a little bit different approach to hitting. Tell us exactly what you're seeing from this lineup and what they want.
Yeah, one of the things he talked to us about is last year they kind of went a little bit more into the game planning sense of things. Maybe some people going up their sitting pitches, which that's also very specific for batters, whether or not they like to do those sorts of things. And he said this year they've kind of gotten back to what I'm going to call traditional Georgia hitting philosophy, which is increasing your margin for error with the timing of your swing. How can you be on time for the vast majority of pitches, be able to get to off-speed pitches, but also be able to handle inside pitches?
Like that, down the left field line for Gordon, and she's going to have extra bases. There's still just 1 out in the inning.
Coach Tony Baldwin likes to talk about things in certain windows of time. Of course, the pitcher's objective is to try to get the batter off time, but when you have that consistent swing and you can adjust to a variety of pitches, that's how you're able to get to pitches like this from Sarah Gordon, getting her barrel out in front to drive that one down the left field line, but also, like we saw from Tyler Ellison, to be able to almost let that ball travel back behind you and still be able to drive it out the opposite direction. Because of that mindset and thinking of things in a window of time is why we associate Georgia offenses with driving the ball with authority to the opposite field, and why they're able to hit a vast majority of different speeds within the same ball game.
Didn't have an extra base hit in the first 5 innings. They've had back-to-back now. Marissa Miller at the plate with a runner on second base. Ruby came in the 5th inning for Oklahoma State and went 1-2-3 just like that with a couple swinging strikeouts, but it's been single, fly out, 2-run home run, double here in her 2nd inning of work. And she's behind Miller 3-0. Marissa Miller, a returning starter. Last year was her first full year as a starter, made 48 of them at catcher, and takes ball 4, first and second. And this is the true freshman, Gabby Novikas.
Earlier in this ball game, Chucky, we heard Coach Tony Baldwin talking about momentum and getting the momentum with the offense. And I give a lot of credit to Delaney Sullivan, who started off this inning, getting into that 2-strike count, hits that hard line drive up the middle to get things going. Then you have Tyler Ellison with the 2-run home run, Sarah Gordon with that line drive down the left field line, and then Marissa Miller drawing the walk. All of a sudden you feel that momentum building in that Georgia dugout.
Down low, ball 1.
The batter is number 32.
Gabby Novickus from Chicago, Illinois. And we've talked so much about defense with Georgia. That was actually how Tony Baldwin referenced Novickus in our calls this week. Said she just moves really well. She's a really talented defensive first baseman. She was 2 for 3 on opening weekend with an RBI and a walk. And this is a big chance for her against one of the nation's best pitchers. Strike 1. There is the starter for Oklahoma State, Riley Crandall, loosening up, potentially going to re-enter this game after a very productive 4 innings. 3-1.
Seems like Ruby's really trying to be intentional with where she locates those drop balls at the bottom part of the zone, and just missing a bit too much, too low in the zone, bouncing in there for ball 3.
It's a true freshman in about her 5th career at bat. Big swing back to Ruby. Gonna try and roll a pair, but not gonna have time. They do get a runner going from first. Natalie Donaldson was in as a pinch runner, and she is the second out.
The next batter is the shortstop, Emily Digby.
4 for 14 in the first 5 innings for Georgia. They're 3 for 5 in this one. Couple extra base hits, including the 2-run shot from Tyler Ellison. Digby takes strike 1.
Digby with 6 RBIs last weekend and opening weekend. Feels like this is another good spot for her to try to drive in some more runs for the Bulldogs, already with a single on the day.
Another run, certainly 2, makes this feel significantly more manageable in the 7th if it's 2 or 3 versus 4.
If you're asking that Georgia dugout, I'm sure they'd love to see a 3-run home run right now. Another one of those home runs.
Digby's hit 1 this year. It's a grand slam in their win over Belmont. That was a home run type of swing.
She was going for it.
Big pitch coming up for Ruby Malin. Had a tough start to the season, gave up 10 hits and 4 earned in their opener against Stanford. Left side, that gets through. Digby drives in a 3rd here in the 6th.
When I watch these swings from Georgia, even when they get into these 2-strike counts, it feels like they are just zeroed in for that Ruby Malin drop ball. This one hanging up just a bit higher in the zone. You could see that bat path that Emily Digby's taking to get to that ball, getting underneath that softball, and she's able to drive it through the 5-6 hole out into that left field gap. Big smile on Emily Digby's face. I'm sure she loves to see those 2 out RBIs.
Tony Baldwin going to call on a pinch hitter. Taya Charlton, the sophomore from Lynchburg, Virginia. 0 for 2 with a couple strikeouts on opening weekend, getting a big chance right here. Had 5 hits in her freshman season, just 1 home run. She represents the tying run in what was a game that looked like it was all Oklahoma State at the beginning of this inning. They were cruising toward an opening win here in Clearwater. Ball 1. Fouled away and onto the other field. Waited on it, but just underneath that pitch.
Some really good swings here by Taya Charlton. You might look at those swings and see those foul balls and might think, oh, she's late on it, but that's the type of swing that Tony Baldwin is looking for, getting that barrel behind the ball. That's where you're going to get that carry, and that's where you're going to get that power.
Fouled straight back again. Still a 1-2 count for Ruby Malin. Got her swinging. It was a rough inning for the Cowgirls, but Ruby Malin closes the door with the tying run at the plate.
The Georgia Bulldogs were starting to get things rolling. Big home run in this inning for Georgia, but it's the strikeout from Ruby Malin to end this one, and Oklahoma State still has the 3-run lead.
Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational is brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. And St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida. From game time to white sand beaches, visit spc.com.
Well, it is beautiful here in Clearwater, Florida. Hey, there we are, up in the booth here at field. Is this field 9?
It is field 9. And I think the two of us have had a smile on our face up here in the booth since the very first pitch of this ball game. So glad to be back down here in Clearwater.
One game finished. Nebraska beating LSU. I think game 3 is about to start any moment now. There are 40 of these in 4 days. So if you're a softball fan, we have you covered. Up the middle off of Little. Nice job at second base by Roos to take care of it. Retire Amanda Hassler, who had that 3-run shot her last trip to the plate.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when you look at those views of the ocean, I think when you look really closely, you might still be able to see Amanda Hassler's home run ball flying over the ocean. She hit that one so far.
I love a good no-doubter. And there's no question.
There was no doubt about that one.
You could just probably didn't have to be looking at the field to know where that was going. Claire Tim at the plate for Oklahoma State. Cowgirls probably thinking an insurance run wouldn't hurt after what just happened in the 6th inning. And the fact that Georgia's 1, 2, 3 hitters are coming up in the 7th.
That's always the interesting part when you look at the way that these games play out too, and going back to our conversation about these coaches being strategic and how they use their pitchers. Maybe you come into the game with a preset plan of when you want to make a change, or maybe you're looking at a specific part of the lineup. Or maybe you just go out there and you let your pitcher throw all 7, but there's so much strategy that goes into every single move that these coaches are making with their pitching. And not to mention, it's day 1 of a lot of games in a short amount of time for these teams.
Outside a 1-out walk to Claire Tim. I think, too, with the changing in how the NCAA tournament is seeded this year, when they're going to seed not just the top 16, but 32 teams, this weekend feels even more important because those teams are still I mean, to get in the top 8, to get in the top 16 and host, it just feels even more important.
It's hard to think about May when I know that it's February right now, but you are looking at those resume boosting wins. You want to have those big time wins, even if they are early on in the season, so that when it comes time to selections and where you're going to be placed, that you can say, hey, we have this big top 10 win against this team, top 5 win against this team. Those all make a difference when you're talking about teams that are so close in record and where they finished in their conference. When you look at those individual wins at points, that can be the difference maker.
One outside from Little. This is Rosie Davis at the plate for Oklahoma State. 0 for 2 with a walk and a couple strikeouts. Slow start for Davis through 6 games. Or excuse me, this is actually Montgomery Henderson who's pinch hitting for Davis. Freshman from Katy, Texas. Had 1 hit and 2 ABs on opening weekend. Down in the count, 1-2. There is Davis in the dugout. Left side, that's off the glove of Lindemuth at third. And there's 2 on with just 1 out.
Nice job for Henderson, just keeping this game moving by driving that ball over towards the third base side of the field. And speaking of keeping games moving, we've got all sorts of action happening down here in Clearwater. Florida State and Texas Tech squaring off. Looks like Caitlin Terry out there in the circle for the Red Raiders.
That's a stacked lineup for Lonnie Alameda, too. A lot of talented young players as well, and that was one thing they did. They did not bring any transfers in this year at Florida State. Lonnie Alameda talking last night at a great event here in Clearwater actually mentioned that, said we strategically did that to let our freshmen come in and play right away.
Some great upperclassmen on that team, too. I think of Issa Torres and Jason E. Beecham, who have had incredible careers so far at Florida State.
This is Madison Hoffman at the plate, who is a redshirt freshman from Lee Summit, Missouri. Listed as a pitcher, but getting the opportunity to hit here as well. Hit .453 in high school, so it's not like she can't do it.
I'd say that's pretty good.
Didn't play last year due to injury and swings through that for a strikeout, 2 away for Little.
Now, so often we talk about the pitching piece of things and working your pitchers in early, but also looking at the hitters and where they fit in certain spots. Ada Little doing a nice job working that drop ball. Looks like that she hung a bit higher up in the zone, ends up getting the strikeout. But pinch hitting is one of the most difficult roles in softball, in my opinion, because you have to be ready at a moment's notice and you have to be locked in to the entire game. So that's something that takes practice, it takes reps, and again, another great chance for these coaches to be able to see who thrives in those roles.
Slow roller and a fantastic outing for the true freshman Ada Little, shutting things down for Georgia in the circle. Last chance for the Dogs next.
All day long, and Chucky knows I've already been talking to him about her swing for the past several days. She hit one so hard last weekend. It was about a line drive that maybe was 9-10 feet off of the ground and sounded like it about broke the clock out there in center field, but just a laser of a shot. She is somebody that just hits the ball consistently hard all the time.
Georgia a season ago was 1-17 when trailing after the 6th inning. That one, though, was timely in the regional final against Duke. We will get the chance to see Tori Edwards in a couple days. Don't ask me when or where, but we'll get there.
Think she's diving into some film right now.
She just might be.
Scouting out some pitchers.
I'm loving the hat next to her. Ground ball fouled off on the right side.
She had a triple last weekend, too.
I was just going to, I mean, like, we talked so much about the power, 18 home runs last year, but she is extremely athletic.
And I think she's just so hard to pitch to, too. How do you go up there, if you're a pitcher out there in the circle and you decide where you want to throw her, because she has power to all fields to go along with the speed?
Ball 3 to Roos. (3-1) from Malin. This is really one of her problems in the last inning. As this is in the right field, it turns around, Warsup, and Roos is around to second base to start off the 7th. How about Georgia and this late fight?
You can see these swings, too. It looks like Roos is looking for this drop ball. Added in a little bit of a leg kick to her swing this year. You can see it just loading up into that back leg and driving with authority the opposite way. Where she's able to catch that ball, too, making contact, that's where you're able to get to those drop balls, because you have to worry about the downward movement with that pitch. So you have to anticipate where it's going to end up, and that barrel angle was perfect to drive that ball out to right field for a double.
Georgia have left 6 on the bases today, so they've had their opportunities. This is fouled up and out of play by Delaney Sullivan. She actually led off the 6th inning that produced 3 runs with a single. Up and outside, ball 1.
I feel like over the last 2 innings, Georgia has really been looking for that drop ball from Ruby Malin. We know that she's been throwing that rise ball a little bit more. First pitch of this at bat to Delaney Sullivan. She threw that pitch up in the zone again. She's trying to work those pitches maybe more towards the top of the zone. To me, looks like Georgia is really just looking for anything that's about belt high and down.
Again, Ruby behind 2-1. Sullivan into right field. That's going to get to the wall. Extra bases for Sullivan. Tony Baldwin holds her at second, but a 4th run comes across.
A drop ball again, and looking back to the first pitch that Delaney Sullivan saw in this at-bat, it was a rise ball at the top of the zone. She ended up fouling it off, but I looked down to Coach Tony Baldwin, and he was immediately clapping his hands. Her ability to fight off that pitch allows her to see others later in the at-bat, allows her to get to that drop ball, and she smokes it with her first double of the season.
The tying run at the plate. Jaden Goodwin. There's no one you'd rather have if you're a Georgia fan. Last year's leader in home runs, second in RBIs, 12 home runs, 47 runs driven in, had a massive jump from her sophomore to her junior season. Been roaming left field for the Bulldogs for a long time now. And Carrie Eberly Parker going to come out and talk to Ruby Malin. Riley Crandall has continued to warm up down the right field line, so the thought would be she is ready if they want to make a move. It's early in the season. It's early in this event. This feels like the worst possible situation if you're Oklahoma State to start. If you were to somehow not close this game out, it'd be really tough to rebound after that.
I think there's a part of me, too, that says it's important for Ruby Malin to go out there and battle against a team that, again, in my opinion, looks like they are just hunting that drop ball. Looks like they are sitting on anything that is low in the zone. So what can you do? That added rise ball that she's really worked on in the offseason, can you execute that consistently in this type of a situation? Because you know that other teams are going to have a similar game plan against Ruby Malin this season.
Into left field, it's kind of tailing, but taken care of by Wilkeson out in left field.
And that drop ball is still a plus pitch. So if you're able to locate it on the corners, it's still a difficult pitch for these batters to get barrels on, even if they are looking for it. So I like the idea of leaving her out there in this situation to see what she's able to do.
One out, and that is a chopper to the left side, taken care of by Davis. Couldn't tell, originally thought it might have hit Ellison out of the box, but it didn't, and there's 2 outs.
Good play by Davis over at third base, too, because Ellison moving down that first baseline. She had to charge this one on the run. Doesn't stop her momentum, doesn't even look to turn to third base because she knows that the sure out is going to be over at first with her team having that 2-run lead.
Just like that, Ruby Malin is 1 out away from closing the door against Georgia to open the Clearwater Invitational. Sarah Gordon at the plate has had an excellent start to the season. It is called strike 1 on the outside corner. Off the end of the bat and out of play. Already feeling the intensity in Clearwater.
I have to keep reminding myself it's February because it feels like May.
1-2. In the air and out of play. Oklahoma State has LSU later today, then Texas A&M, UCLA, Duke the rest of the way. Georgia has Nebraska coming up later. We'll have that game. And NC State, UCF, Northwestern, and Duke. 6 games in 3 days. Another 1-2 on the way. This is ripped into right center field, and we're not done yet. Gordon headed for second, and the tying run now on the base paths.
This inning has just been double after double after double. It's like watching the same swing over and over and over again. A 1-2 count, another one of those drop balls that's on the outer half of the plate. Sarah Gordon with a great swing here, driving this one into the opposite field gap to drive in another run for the Georgia Bulldogs, making a comeback in the bottom of the 7th inning.
The next batter is a catcher.
Ruby Malin stays in the circle for the time being with Marissa Miller having a conversation with Tony Baldwin. Miller is a Georgia native. Played quite a bit as a freshman in 2023, not so much in 2024, and then last year became a starter for this team, and you expect her to be in that same role again in her senior season. 0 for 2 with a walk. Ground ball left side, this could do it. Jones is on it, and Oklahoma State holds on. A little dicey, but they get the win.
But these are the types of battles, right? You're not going to come out and win every single game, but what can you do? How can you respond? We saw the Georgia offense responding late in the game, but it was the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. The start that Riley Crandall gave them was executing her pitches very well. And then Amanda Hasler with that huge 3-run home run that were the difference makers in this one.
Tony Baldwin and Georgia are back later today against Nebraska. That's 2 in the books, 38 to go over the next 4 days here at the Clearwater Invitational. Coverage continues on our ESPN family of networks and on SEC Network tomorrow at 9 a.m. For Madison Shipman and our entire crew, I'm Chucky Kempf.